Welcome to the pod. And now drink it.
Thank you, Hashem.
No, first you gotta go like this.
Thank you, Hashem.
Wait.
I have bitachon. All right, guys. Spot energies are intense. Okay, so we're losing Yechezkel in 30 minutes. So basically,
Only temporarily.
Baruch Hashem,
I'll be back.
going to pick up the kibbutz galuyot, B'ezrat Hashem, the ingathering of the exiles. Amen, amen.
Man.
Yeah, we had a lot going on, man. Tisha B'Av last week was crazy too.
Dude, this whole month, the past 2 months have been crazy.
Tammuz Av is very intense, huh?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, man. I think we're all feeling it one way or another.
We're all going through it. It's the time of Katnut, extreme Katnut.
But it's because we're headed towards the Chagim.
Exactly.
The new year.
And we had.
Elul's coming, bro.
I think beyond that, man, like we're headed towards Mashiach.
Yeah.
It's so you so felt in the air by everyone.
Yeah, things are getting really heated up.
Every month, every day, it's just feeling closer and closer.
I also feel like time is speeding up. That's what days are just flying by.
Well, actually, they just said something about that in. I think like NASA just came out with a report that the shortest day ever was recorded. It was 30 seconds.
So it is.
30 seconds less than any other day ever.
Wow, that's crazy.
As the reason says. So yes, our days actually are getting shorter according to.
It's spinning faster, or what's going on?
I can't remember what I said. I think the rotation is
But I a lot of that is nonsense, to be honest. I think a lot of it is lies.
Hey, what?
I think this whole world is sheker.
Yeah, the whole world is sheker.
But NASA specifically,
bro,
they're showing so many things that are obviously lies.
NASA is the Nazis.
Literally.
Yeah. Anyways,
do you know what
people
he said?
listen to us for positivity.
Yeah. So a positive about the NASA thing, Van Brun, I don't know, whoever something. This Nazi, this SS guy that was the first engineer director that also directed the Apollo 11 travel to the moon.
To Hollywood.
To Hollywood.
Universal Studios.
We'll leave it up to interpretation.
I'm from Florida. I've seen the space shuttle go up a few times. I know the rocket is real. So
listen, we can all make rockets, but do they land somewhere? That's the question.
I do like space travel, so I kind of hope that it's real. I've been there in my dreams and in astral projection, but not physically. I would love to.
What were you saying though?
So when he passed away, he put on his tombstone a peg from Tehillim about it's talking about the firmament. It talks about God creating the firmament. So that's interesting.
Cool.
You know what Rav Turgeman says about space?
No, I don't.
He tells a story. They came to Rav Moshe Feinstein in America, and they asked him. They said, the NASA's going to the moon. What's gonna be? So he says they're gonna come back with a few rocks. That's it, nothing more. A few days later, whatever, a week later, they after the thing, they're like, yeah. And when they came back, they asked Rav Moshe, they came back with rocks. That's all they had was rocks. And then they say, what are you, a Navi? You are Ruach HaKodesh? He says, no. In the whole entire Torah, there's nothing mentioned about life anywhere else. So, what are they gonna find besides a bunch of rocks?
2 days later in the news, Nevada rocks missing.
There are other beings though, interdimensional beings and stuff like
in
that.
This yes,
we know
also
in the Torah, from the Torah.
Yeah,
Rambam says
there's angels, of course.
There's the other thing I don't
That's
know.
I think what a lot of people
also Galgalim. And it's in the beginning of Mishneh Torah. It says there that the Galgalim, which is the spheres, the planets, right? He says that they have more dat than humans, more consciousness of Hashem than humans, but less than angels.
That's very interesting.
It's Rambam Pshat right there.
You look at a planet, he understands more about you than you about him. That's for sure. That's easy.
I wonder the personality of Earth.
Yeah.
It's the stoner.
Balance, because it has all the other elements.
Balance.
Yeah.
Chabura talk.
Yeah. Get into that then.
But
what happened in the chabura?
By the way, talking about the angels and about aliens and stuff and extraterrestrials beings, I think that's what a lot of people mistake when they see things in the sky. I've heard many words of Torah that people talk about, these extraterrestrials are really angels that people see glimpses of. Mm-hmm. I've heard people. Have you heard of the circles, the grain circles,
The crop circles.
Yeah,
crop circles.
Yeah.
So one of these people said that when they went there, they went to sleep there. They woke up and these crops had these crazy like bends, like natural bends. They were like grown almost. It's like impossible. And then they had experiences they were talking about. I don't know if it's true or not, about like these beings, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like angels to me. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe it's us, time traveler in the merkava. Maybe it's Eliyahu Navi. I don't know. It could be anything.
Wow.
It could be literally anything. It could be Shadim. It could be whatever.
You never know who's gonna bust into your Avodat Hashem and turn things up. Last week we had a crazy chabura. You missed it, Avidan. But we'll fill you in now, really shortly.
Hey,
It was the Ilulav, the Arizal.
Yeah, that was incredible. I went 3 times.
Three times the Ariya Kodesh. The third time was...
It was nighttime, and then during the day with you guys, and then again nighttime with Rav Morgenstern. That was incredible.
So how did the night start? Wow.
L'chaim, you start the story.
Basically, we have this chabura, we come together, learning, and we all came a little bit late, the orot of the Arizal. It was like, until we all got into the Beit Midrash together. And then, like, we're there, we're trying our hardest to get started and to, get into the Torah. We're finally getting up to it. And we're deciding, like, because we're learning in eating, right, the chapter of eating, so we said, let's not finish eating during the 3 weeks when we can't have meat. Let's finish it next week. And now, until next week, which is this week, right, we'll have a barbecue this week, B'ezrat Hashem, sometime, right, to finish the chapter of Nachila. But first, let's learn something else. So I give the option, let's learn about the connections to the Tzaddik, Arizal. Let's learn about Beit HaMikdash and Tisha B'Av. That was the only 2 options, right?
Yeah.
And we all, like, voted, whatever. This guy walks in, and he said, and we decided on learning about the chabura, the power of a chabura. Mm-hmm. Rav Morgenstern says a beautiful thing, that if you think about Hashem, you come together as friends to contemplate the name of Hashem, that you get put in a special category of people that are protected in the times of Mashiach.
And
they don't have to go there.
Faster.
And it brings Geula faster and everything. Amazing things to be part of a chabura, right? So we start to learn this, dabbling in, and in walks this guy
with green arak,
like a bottle of arak lemonade, and he's like on something. I don't know, going through something definitely. And he like looks at me. He's like, arak, you need arak. And I was like, okay. Like, whatever.
Well, anyway, you never turn down Arak. Anyway.
It's also the Hilula.
We just started the Chabura, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, so that very quickly turned into a very confrontational...
It's called balagan in Hebrew.
Balagan. Yeah, take it from there. I don't know what even happened there.
It's crazy. But, so like, this one person, he sits down in the back and starts smoking a cigarette inside. We're like, no, you can't smoke inside. So he opens the door, and he's smoking, and you're teaching, and then one of the people in the chabura, they get upset. They're like, I can't learn with this cigarette smoke, and then the guy's like, oh, go outside, and he goes outside, and then the other person in the chabura was still upset. He was like, listen, this guy is like causing a problem, interrupting the learning. And we're like, it's a test from Hashem, it's a test. Yeah. So then he comes back in, and you continue, like, Hebrew, English.
Like we always do.
And the guy literally screams, saying, no, and he's speaking Hebrew. He's like, no, do it in Hebrew. Like, it's Torah, you should be teaching in Hebrew. And then you're explaining, like, listen, this is a chabura for English speakers, and we're like, this is what we do, kavua. And the guy starts screaming on the top of his lungs. Literally screaming, no, screaming.
Insane, bro.
And so I stand up, and you stand up, and we're like, okay, my brother, done. You're out.
Yeah, we gave him a lot of time. But at a certain point, Yechezkel and I looked at each other and we're like, all right, Gvura time. Like Gvura is also a midah,
Like a father. Like that's enough. Like you can't do this. You're acting out.
Yeah.
And then he starts like screaming.
He's like, come, both of you. I'll take both of you.
Yeah.
I'll screw up both of you. I'll take both of you.
And then our good friends in the chabura, he's like, no, guys, stop it. Don't you see he's hurting? And then we're all like, yeah, so take care of it, brother. And he's like, come here. And the guy comes into his arms and starts crying.
They start hugging and crying.
Hugging and crying, and they walked him out. And and he brought him over to his place, and then he one of his friends is like comes into the chabura and is like, lock the door, guys. So
Just in case, anyway.
Just like, just lock the door. And so we lock the door, and we're continuing. And now you say what we learned.
So we continue learning about the power of a chabura and everything, and it like comes to say like, okay, so what is the goal of the chabura? The goal of the chabura is to realize that Hashem is everything. And everything we're going through in life is Hashem. And sometimes people are sent to interrupt us and interfere and to make balagan and to make us angry and chaos and all this thing, and they cause us to get angry. But
That's what it said, black and white?
Bro, right in the book, right in the book.
Wow.
And like
All this
four lines. That's what we're trying to move forward, right? If we would have just read that, like
Everyone's feeling a little flustered, you know?
Yeah,
There's, like,
wow.
the energy in the room. And,
That's
like,
crazy.
you
And
know?
I missed that.
so that like we literally read that, and it's like it's all Hashem, and you just feel everyone in the room like
We all looked at each other and we were like,
we
what?
started laughing. Like, what are the chances that that's the next line? Like,
Hashem's a comedian, bro. He created comedy. He's hilarious.
and
It's comedy.
we've seen a few things like this when we come to learn the chabura, right?
And
It's
with
like
Nisim on my
oh
wedding
yeah, that was
anniversary.
too. Wow.
That was crazy. Should I say that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You can do it quickly.
Okay, so it was my anniversary, and I go
To get special permission to come to the chabura.
and we did something nice. We had dinner, and then I came to the chabura. I was a little late, and it was an amazing chabura. That was like I needed to be there. But during the middle of it, Nisim, he's a hidden tzaddik. Okay,
Hidden tzaddik of tzaddik.
He's hidden, and he knows things, and he's always fighting the Sitra Achra. He's always going through it, and he tells me secrets all the time in passing.
Yeah.
Supposedly he's my cousin, bro. He told me, he's like, I'm an Abulafia, like from Morocco. And I'm like, whoa.
It gets deeper and deeper.
So anyways, he comes right up to me while you're teaching,
Yeah.
right? And he slams down a sefer, a book.
Tikkunei Zohar.
And I was looking at him, and he's like, this is for you. And like really like powerful. And I was like, okay, thank you, brother. And I opened it up.
And if you know Nisim, you know nothing is stam, nothing is just.
Where did he get this book from?
From the shelf. He literally walked up to the
So
bookshelf.
what happened? You opened it up?
I open it up, right? And it opens up to a piece of paper falls out. Another piece of paper. 3 pieces of paper fall out. And it says, the Ana B'Choach prayer from Yechezkel and Mia's wedding. It was from my wedding.
On his anniversary.
I remember now.
At the chuppah,
Yeah.
right? You were there. And they passed around this, one of my Rabbi Greenberg, who should be on the show, by the way. So he's like under the chuppah giving the bracha, I think it was like
Wow.
the 6th or 7th one.
Bro, what are the chances?
And he's like, we're doing the Ana B'Choach, and we're going to destroy the snake right now by saying this all together in union. And so these sheets of paper that came out of the Zohar were from my wedding, and it was my anniversary.
How is
I
this
was freaked out. And we saw Open Miracle, and then
Yeah.
and then what happened after that? After the chabura, I go up to Nisim, and he's acting silly that night.
Yeah, he was on something. He was on a good
And
one.
I was like, Nisim, did you know that it was my anniversary? And he's like, I know nothing. I absolutely know nothing. And I'm like, bro, this came out of the Zohar. And he just starts laughing at me as I said it was for you. It was
Oh, well,
Shalom
another guest.
Wow.
Please grab a chair.
Blending in.
Grab a chair from the kitchen.
Grab a chair. Close the door and grab a chair from
We
the
have
kitchen.
a live audience. Baruch Hashem.
What's up, brother?
Shalom Aleichem.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, Bobo. Let's go. We're in the middle. Gotta keep going.
Where did
Kids.
that water go?
Yeah, it's here. So we've been having crazy things happening at the chabura, but after this whole entire back and forth with this Arak guy,
Yeah.
we had the amazing opportunity of going to visit the Gon and the Tzaddik,
Say his full name.
Rav Itche Meir Morgenstern, Baruch Hashem. Wow, what a
my
scoot, man.
No.
You had a very special...
This is because of you, bro. I was literally, I couldn't speak.
Pachad Yitzchak, bro. Pachad Yitzchak.
You felt the fear when you looked at you?
Bro, you were like...
I just didn't want to interrupt him. He was glowing. He was on fire, like non-stop for like an hour straight speaking in Yiddish. I didn't understand anything, but I'm like, my neshama is like getting filled up with light.
Yeah,
now.
it
Bro,
is.
the
And I'm
first
standing next to him, man.
The first time I met him, like I came to the shul here down there in the south, when he came to Tzfat, and like I
When I
was in
came
the
with
shul.
Yeah, we were all there.
Yes, but you guys came a bit later. I came a bit earlier,
Oh, okay.
And when I was standing there in close by the where he's davening in front of, he's the one leading the service. I came close, and we prayed Musaf. I finished. I was just looking at him. Then he finished. He came walking around. I don't know. He came walking. He stopped right in front of me. He looks at me. I'm like, I can't breathe, bro. I get this fear, like he looks through your soul. He knows everything. I was like, whoa.
Super
I feel
healing,
this
man.
awe, you know,
Yeah,
like
that's
not
crazy.
like a bad fear, like he's gonna do something, but
this
just
is your
awe, like wow.
Shemaim, bro.
Shit,
You
yeah,
are
sure.
like,
It's so cool, man.
wow.
We
you
walked
feel-
in. We walked in. I saw like literally. I stood right behind him, and then there was a seat right there, and like the room is packed,
right behind him, yeah.
and the seat was right there. I was just like, I sat down.
Yeah, you're in all the pictures, man.
I got from America. I got a message from Joey Rosenfeld saying like, "Wow, gewalt," and it's a picture of me with Rav Morgenstern.
Bro, you look so into it. You're like,
That's the thing. I was sitting there. I'm like looking at it, and I'm just like, what is going on? And I can't understand the Yiddish. I understand Atzilut, Bria, Yesod. I
Yeah,
understand like
those.
things like that here and there, like Ruach HaKodesh. I hear all the Hebrew in it, but like I'm so lost in what he's saying. But I just like, whoa.
you feel it. You feel the
And
fire
then-
of the
and
Torah.
then I took the Biyam Darkecha, right? I take the book. At the back there's empty pages, and I knew that the guy sitting next to me had a
So
pen.
write this,
He had
man.
a
I was
pen.
like, what is he writing?
Exactly. So I did it last time. Last time I went to Torah Chacham and I saw him in Yerushalayim. So I took his gabai's pen and a big A4 piece of paper, and I wrote, Rav Morgenstern, please bless us with babies. And I wrote my wife's name like big, and I gave it to him in his hand, and he read it, and then he asked for it to be put on his stender to continue davening for us.
Wow.
So that was the last time I was with Rav Morgenstern. So this time I was like, I'm going to do the same thing. Like I took the Biyam Darkecha, I asked to borrow this pen, and I wrote there like,
Smart.
thank you for helping us with Dveikud. Thank you for all of these teachings. Thank you for Mamash the Misirut Nefesh. Is like you give so much to Am Yisrael. Thank you for all of this. And I just handed it. This first chance I saw, like I handed him the book, and he starts like he looks at the note, but not enough to read it. He like looks at what book it is. He sees it's Biyam Darkecha, and like he looks at me, he looks at Biyam Darkecha, he like sees it's used, and then he like reads the letter, and he put his hand on it, he's like bracha. And then I like moved to the other side of him, and the whole time I'm telling Yechezkel like, come bro, come, just listen, trust me,
I was
just
frozen, bro. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed.
I like come bro, just come. And he's in like his, in a shirt like this with
I
the
was in a
sunflowers and
flower
everything. It's amazing.
I had sunflowers on my shirt.
Bro, exactly.
I
I'll
didn't
call
know I
it
was going to
Devarim.
see him that night.
And then I moved to the other side of him, so now I'm on the right side of Rav Itche Meir, and I'm like, I told this gabbai like, you have to get this guy next to him. The Rav would want to meet him. So he looks at me, he's like, yeah, and I already schmoozed with him, so he felt more comfortable. And I was like, yeah, help me. So I moved to the side. He brought like Yechezkel in. So now like the Rav turns to Yechezkel, but I'm in his right ear while he's looking left, and I'm like, Rav, he's an Abulafia. But telling him in English, I was like, he's an Abulafia.
Before that, though, I got a bracha, right?
Yeah, first he gave you a bracha.
I got a bracha. I was so satisfied, and I walked out, and then you got into his ear, and then he told me to come back.
Yeah, he's like, come back. I said, Rav, he's an Abulafia. He says, he looks at Yechezkel, he looks back at me, he says, what do you mean he's Abulafia? He teaches Abulafia? So I said, he teaches, and he's actually a descendant of Rav Avram Abulafia. And Rav Chaim, so he says, what? He like looks, he was like shocked. He was like, And he looks at Yechezkel and he gave him another bracha to like Vimoshich. I told him
he like gestured, like, come back. And then his gabbai like, go back down. And so I put my head down, and he's like, you're Abulafia? And I'm like, yeah, it's my family. I started doing tshuva when I found out. And then he's like, what do you need? I could ask anything in the world, I like, he just gave me a bracha, like I was already ready to go, like I'm like good, and I'm like, what do I ask? And I said, please open up my mochin to understand my teachings of my ancestors, so I could teach it properly and spread it across the world. And he gave me a bracha. I don't like he blessed me with a few things. You were next to him. I don't know exactly what he said.
You asked for the perfect thing.
Yeah, and he also blessed the chabura. He said that the chabura is a big thing, and then we have to keep going with it and be mitzvah to keep spreading the Torah. So we're so
Life
lucky,
changing,
man. And then what happens? He says, and we didn't understand this because it was in Yiddish, but like there was a big bag of like Kiryat Shema from the Arizal, like the Arizal's
How'd
Kiryat
you
Shema.
get that, by the way?
It was right in front of me, and then Rav Morgenstern said that I didn't know this. We went outside, and Gabe came up to us. He's like, it's so funny too how we came in the room. It's like a whole bunch of black and white like hats and everything, and we all walk in
all
colorful, like all of us walk in,
Smarties.
sit right next to the Rav, like surround him, like it was amazing. But there was this bag, and then I went outside, And then Shalom Tanji comes up to me. He's like, hey, Joey Rosenfeld said to tell the guy with the white kippah to tell Rav Itche Meir that he says hi. So I was like, now I have shlichut from Rav Joey, like, and I want to do it. So I went back inside. Rav Morgenstern was talking, and then he started to do Birkat Hamazon, so I couldn't say it. But at a certain point, like he said, we're all gonna go now to Kever Ari, and we're gonna say Kriyat Shema from the Arizal, and there's gonna be a huge yeshuot for everyone that comes. I told him, and he's like, okay, let's go. But this bag was there of Kriyat Shema, and I like picked it up, and I was like, I said, Rav, should I give these out? And like, yeah, just like handing them out. And I said, Rav, should I take the rest of them to the kever? He's like, yeah, go now. So like, I just take this bag and I start going to the kever. I start going, guys, the tzaddik's coming. We're gonna do a big tikkun. Whoever wants to take part, hand out like literally 30, 40 of these pamphlets. Everyone, bro, that kever just like. I don't know. That was my only time that I went on the Ilula, but
it was unbelievable, bro.
Nikuni.
And then when the Rav came, the sea split for him, and it went straight to the kever.
In between the Ramak and the Ari. Yeah.
Like, of course he has bodyguards, right? But like, I've never seen that. Like, I always like ninja my way in. Until I get finally to the kever, and that's like my mission. And I get it every time. I did it 3 times. But yeah, sometimes you gotta be sly, and he was just like he just flew right in. Yeah. Like, it was unbelievable. Really, it was really cool to see. I wish I filmed it, but like I was trying to not use my phone around him.
Yeah, it's so funny. We had a friend there. He pulled out his phone. He's like, "Wow, I have to catch this." And I just taught him about Rav Morgenstern, like Rachel Leir, all these things. And then he's like, "Who's this Admor?" And I was like, that's Rav Morgenstern. That's the one that we were learning about, Rachel Leir. And he's like, what? That's him. He pulls out his phone, and I was like, no, he hates smartphones. He's like, oh, and he puts it. Rav Morgenstern's standing like right in front of me. He pulls it and puts it away. But,
someone took a picture, right, like behind us, and then he was taking pictures, and then one of the Chassidim was like, and I was like, oh man, tough crowd.
But even though he doesn't maybe like personally to be involved with social media and all this stuff,
he's all for this,
bro. Like, he's so much big part of this podcast. Like,
he's
he's
the real Rebbe of this.
The first clip was about Rav Morgenstern,
and it's still the most successful one, I think, besides Ari Lesser.
It's very good.
It's amazing. Yeah, first episode.
Get Ari Lesser into Team Aleph, bro.
Yeah.
When he comes back, we'll get him in.
So what about Team Aleph? Team Aleph a little bit. We gotta bring this out for the people. You guys have been doing amazing work, bro.
Aleph,
finally. A couple of Jews having fun.
We made this new channel, new YouTube channel, new Instagram, new TikTok, and basically
YouTube, everything.
All platforms.
And we're starting to make skits. Me and Yechezkel, and hopefully Liao at some point.
Well, Team Aleph, we are all one.
We're collective. I'm in some of them just from the Mochin level, you know.
So. But yeah, check Team Aleph like on all these platforms, and we'll make really funny skits. I think so, at least. We enjoy them. And,
we have like the different types of Jews. We did the different Rebbes.
Yeah.
We did really aspects of ourselves. Yeah. You know? Like, they're all our costumes. They're my clothes.
So let's go. Let's touch a little bit. Someone gave a little bit of negative feedback, right?
Yeah.
What do you like? So it's like saying you're making fun of other Jews. What's your short take on it? Just to clear up the air.
Has v'shalom.
Read your mean comments.
First of all, I am not filming anybody at all, any individual.
And what did it say in the first place?
You're making fun of other people. That's it.
All I'm literally doing is showing different aspects of myself, also aspects of you, right? Like, we're playing ourselves. You know, I am the Moroccan. I am the Kabbalist. I am the Chassid. You know, like, I'm all of them. These are just different versions of me. Sometimes I'm praying from my phone, and I do get a text message, and I don't try to interrupt anyone, but I put on airplane mode.
And even though, like, for me, like, I don't feel like necessarily I'm all of them, right? But like, and I still play some of them, but it's like I play such an exaggerated version.
You're the rocker for sure, and the clown.
Yeah, it's me that's so exaggerated, but I'm not like, there's no one that I'm like imitating. That's really like that. It's like us. Our experience through that type of Jew, right? And it's like just like over the top exaggeration.
I think it's amazing.
It's not making fun of anyone.
And
I think.
And in a world with so much pure negativity and so much like
it's lighthearted,
deliberate anti someone.
Yeah, this is not deliberate. This is like with lighthearted, with fun. We're not like trying to break down someone. We're not trying to diss anyone. This is just all lighthearted. Team Aleph, to bring everyone together, right? Yeah. We're all one.
How I came up with this first idea, it was really with him when I was trying to figure out different content to make for Abulafia Meditation. And
Which is also getting picked up.
And
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. And I got the bracha now, so
Yeah,
I'm
there you go.
hopefully V'zat Hashem more content for that. But I was trying to figure it out, and I'm like, I remember one of the trending TikTok or whatever. It was like choose your character, and it's like you're like on Super Smash Brothers, and you're picking different characters. I wanted to do one with different clothing of Abulafia meditation that I use for meditation. But then when we brought it over, and then you brought over that we like made a funny one, and that's how it came into being. You know,
Listen,
It's pure.
It's
two
like- it was-
brains come together, make something cool. Three brains, even
Listen,
better.
I
you know?
wanted to be a comedian actor before I even like became, observant. And then I dropped all that. I was doing improv. I was doing, I was doing, what's it called, like auditions and stuff like that. I had headshots. I was like ready to go, and then I became observant, and I just like dropped all that. And
Now
then
you got to do tshuva on your tshuva.
Yeah. And then when I was in Asia Torah, I got like an audition called back and said, "You're on," and I'm like, I'm in Israel.
None of that now. But now that's exactly the opportunity that we want to be able to provide. And that's what we're trying to do with Team Aleph. And everybody's invited to take part. You don't have to be in Sfat to do this. You just have to make good content and have it be, Jewish and to embrace our identities. And
Also trying to be as sensitive as possible, Like,
Yeah.
I personally think we're doing great with no cursing and,
Yeah.
it's clean humor.
Listen, it's okay to bring up the topic that people don't want to talk about because we're living in a society that like makes things taboo that are not really taboo. They're just like, what is a woman? We just went on the streets, asked people what's a woman. Some people didn't want to answer that question. There was
So
one guy
scared.
that ran after us after he answered the question, like, I don't want it on there. And he didn't say anything like wrong, but I get what he's coming from. He's like, we have such a society, like you say one thing wrong, like, or like say one thing that like doesn't fit the narrative. Like, oh man, now you're like blacklisted or something. And it's such
Canceled.
simple things. But we are here to discuss these things and to bring it to the light and show the holiness and the good part of it, right?
Also, thank God for internet because, like, we can't really get canceled.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, Bezrat Hashem. It's God help. We have God's protection.
And I
hopefully.
hope to purify the internet one day.
Yeah, that's the point, right? To purify the internet, to spread good content, kedusha content, not nonsense with emptiness. Some of the stuff is really funny out there, but it's like empty. It's like you finish watching it and you're like, I gained nothing besides a laugh, but it's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
If I want to, I need to watch more to enjoy more. I didn't last, but if we give something, we try to leave something with the person. There's like some message in there, like
Sure, the
some
eating-
halacha.
the eating thing.
One, like
The eating one, people are like inspired to go now and buy books to learn more Torah, to learn how to eat in a kosher way because of an amazing video that you guys made.
And it was your idea. It was a great one.
It's all from B'yam Dakicha. It's all from B'yam Dakicha. I love it. I love
Came
it.
up with the idea that the skit.
The idea was great. Baruch Hashem, we got many more cooking, right? But in the end of the day, you guys brought it out into fruition, and you made it look so good and so appealing that people were inspired. Like, wait, that's the truth. Like Hashem is at the root of all pleasure. Like that's the way to eat. So we need to keep on doing this. We need to keep knocking it out
Yeah,
more
man.
and more.
Listen,
and
we
more.
got almost 60,000 views or something in like 2.5 weeks or over,
Yeah.
something like that.
2 weeks, yeah, 2.5 weeks. That's
Yeah,
this is the third week starting now.
crazy. And
Yeah.
we only got like almost 2, maybe 3 negative things out of everyone else giving us positive feedback. That's great. So
Keep
and
going.
it's not just us doing it. We need you guys to also be making pure content. So like get on
Sure,
there,
for
just
sure.
do it.
It's time
It
to
doesn't have to be
dominate, to
perfect.
conquer.
If we want to be
Kedusha.
all
Mashiach.
goyim, if we want to be all goyim, then
Light
we
to the
need
nations.
Yeah, we spread light to the nations, and we really need to put the light there. It's not always just about like.
Kaylee's ready.
Yeah, everything's going.
Grab a camera. You could use your phone. You just do it.
It's exactly Tubav. Just to touch on Tubav.
Go for it.
I don't know
It's
what time.
coming.
What time are you leaving? We don't want you to leave, but very soon.
Like
So,
in 5 minutes.
so hear this crazy tour, right?
And
and
then
then Ben, you
finish.
should jump on.
We can finish it here also and just.
Nah, Tubav's coming out right now. Was that the shit? We'll get it out before. Yeah.
No, I'm
before
saying we 2F and then we finish the podcast.
So explain.
Exactly. So Tubav,
When is it?
it is in a few days. Today was the 11th.
11th, yeah.
So
4 more days.
exactly Thursday.
What
Friday.
is
It's going
Tubav?
to
The 15th of Av.
15th of Av is an amazing historical day where the tribes were permitted to intermarry. Right, they could not with goyim, God forbid, but with each other,
With each
tribe.
other's tribes.
Exactly. Up until then, up until the
You only
certain
marry
year,
in the tribe.
exactly. Then they allow them. There was also a few different things that happened that bad things that happened that were removed on Tu B'Av. One was there was idol worship set up by the wicked kings of the north on the way to the temple.
Was this
On-
also the 9th of Av that this
No,
happened?
Tu B'Av was when it was set up. I don't know, but on Tu
All
B'Av
these bad
they-
things happened on the 9th of Av, right? The destruction of the temples, all the two destruction.
Yeah, but we're past that now. We're going into the good.
but
Baruch
it's
Hashem.
connected because like now
Nachon,
we're past
bevadai.
all this
Everything's
heaviness.
Bevadai. So these things were removed on Tu B'Av. Also, the all the people that died in the Beitar massacre were allowed to be buried, and that's where we got the bracha of Atov V'Ameitiv from, in Birkat Hamazon and also on wine. That's also from then. And Tu B'Av though, it's a very interesting, like if someone was to suggest this minhag nowadays, they would be like blacklisted in the Orthodox community. Let's take a park in Jerusalem and bring out 500 girls in white dresses
And let
to
them
dance
dance.
around and go up to the boys and say, "Hey boys, lift your eyes up to the sky."
Isn't this what
Right?
TikTok is now?
So that's what used to happen. But shiduchim used to be made out of this. I heard an explanation that when
Different times. Interesting.
when the temple was there and there was tahara, there was purity in the air. So there's no problem that guys and girls can be together because there's purity. There's complete purity among the people. You're allowed to be
There were
friends with
pure
a girl and
intentions. There was no bad intentions
Probably
there.
gonna go back to that.
Bezrat Hashem, for
Yeah.
sure we'll go. Hopefully,
That's
yeah,
gonna
it
be
must
great.
be. So Tu B'Av though, and the Pnimiut is amazing. It's rooted in Yesod, right? And even though the month of Av is the month of Hod, splendor, Yesod is Tu B'Av, like Tu B'Shvat. They're both the same, right? And
It's like Tu B'Shvat.
Tu B'Shvat and Tu B'Av have
Same.
correlation. The 15 touches, it's the power of Ma, his name of Hashem, whatever. We're not going to get too Kabbalistic. But basically, the idea is to connect everything back to Hashem. And that now that we're getting through the end of the summer, we're going into the summer months. The Arizal says is the months of Nukba, of the feminine side, right? And the months of the winter are the masculine side. So now we're going on that point where it switches over of the unification of the two, that we bring them together. And
On Tu B'Av.
yeah, on Tu B'Av, that's the day. So
That's
it's a
Yichud.
day of amazing Yichudim. It's the day of all Yichudim.
Wow.
It's the complete Shiduch. That's what they call it. It's the day of the Shiduchim. The day of...
Bro, we should
so-
be doing Yehudim like all day
Hey,
long.
you have to.
Shammai was married on that day, by the
Yeah.
way. Got married. I still
Well,
remember.
classically,
that night.
this is like
Amazing
the Jewish Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's the best day to get married.
It came
That's
way
what
before.
we do on Valentine's
Shalom
Day.
also
Get married.
Shalom got married on
Shalom
it.
to you.
Right.
Shalom also
It
got married.
makes sense because it's Yichud Day spiritually, so obviously physically too, like getting married.
100%. Look
That's
how
unbelievable.
deep this is, right?
What is this from?
This is from Rav Morgenstern.
Send that to me.
I will. I did. It's in the group.
Oh, okay.
The Torah is the source of all life. When one connects to the Shekhinah, he is a different person entirely. Although he walks with everyone else, he is entirely different from them. The entire exile came through saying, "My God is not inside me." And therefore the root of all avodah is that we should recognize that my God is within me. That all of our life must be about, and you shall cling to Hashem your God, for they are our life and the length of our days. This is how we begin revelation of remembering godliness and Tu B'Av, and is the secret of the connection of Dveikut that we attain through the level of Yesod. Now this is what gets crazy. Like, this is deep.
So it is the Yichud, like bridge.
Exactly. Right? That they said to, what would the woman say? Bachor, sa enecha, lift up your eyes. Right? Sa na enecha. Sa na, Rav Morgenstern says, is Shor, Aryeh, Nesher, Adam. Ox, lion,
It's the
eagle,
merkava.
and man. It's the four images of the merkava.
Yeah.
So the girls would come out and say,
Turn on your merkava, everybody.
look up at the merkava, look up in Yichud, look up, like the girls would go out and say, look up in Yichud.
Just explain merkava for a second.
Merkava, the holy chariot of Hashem.
It's
There's four
Yechezkel's vision.
images. Yechezkel's vision. There you go. Take it away, bro.
It's
Yeah.
Ezekiel's vision. It's literally in the prophets in Yechezkel, and it talks about the merkava. He sees this crazy whirlwind vision. It's like a storm. He sees, like basically he sees everything up there, like the different angels. He sees matat, like meta, and he sees them all, and he uses this vehicle, right? It's called the merkava, and there's four faces of it, like you said, right? It was the
The ox,
the ox,
the lion,
the lion, eagle,
and the man.
and it's there's faces of this. It's like a 3D. I don't know. I haven't
It's
seen
like
it, but
all sides.
it's like a
you're
Jewish
saying?
star that's three-dimensional, and it revolves around you supposedly, and it's a vehicle. It's called God's chariot, and you could travel supposedly throughout time and space. And this is what Eliyahu Navi did.
That's literally what he says.
Yeah, when he went up in the merkava, and now that's how he's able to appear like throughout time and space.
Wow.
And people don't see him. He's in the merkava. It's like this vehicle that Bizat Hashem, we could all use. It's better than any Tesla, bro. And it's a thing that it's the only way to activate it. You need prophecy. So prophecy is the key to merkava.